This is a stimulus update and daily news report. I got some important updates to share with you. The big question, will the big uptick in layoffs lead to more stimulus aid? It happened before. Can it happen again? There's a new $1,000 check program that was just launched. I'll let you know which city and state that is. When it comes to President Biden, he is officially the oldest president there was and the only president to reach 80 years old in office. I'll let you know the other top 5 presidents who are the oldest. And when it comes to the Democrat and Republican House leaders, are they going to work together? I'll play the video clips of what they say and give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than Monday Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. So let's get into it here. President Biden becomes the first president to turn 80 in office. Here are the oldest presidents in U.S. history. So I'm curious, is 80 too old or does it depend on the person? So he was 78 when he took office in 2020. Now he is 80. The second oldest president is Donald Trump. I was actually surprised by that. He was 70 years old when he took office and probably 74 now. And then Ronald Reagan is the third oldest at 69 years old when he took office. Then William Henry Harrison. I'm going to be honest, never heard of this president, but he was 68 years old. But this is way back in, well, he was born in 1773 and he was the president in 1841. So yeah, a long time, and he held the record for 140 years until Ronald Reagan became the next oldest president. Then James Buchanan, I think that's his nickname, Old Buck, was 65 years old. Then George H.W. Bush, Mr. Read My Lips, was 64 years old. And then Zachary Taylor, never heard of him either. He's from 1849, but he was 64 years old. So yeah, pretty crazy, the presidents. Some of them haven't heard of, but I guess 80 years old, that's pretty old. Let me know your thoughts. Should President Biden run again and make it into, I guess he would be 86 if he were to get a second term or well into it. All right, next up, one day after asking the Supreme Court to save its student loan forgiveness plan, the Biden administration started notifying applicants they've been approved. So basically, what's going on here is with student loan forgiveness, the applicants could apply, it's no longer open, and they're actually approving the applicants. The only problem is there's no money to give these approved applications for student loan forgiveness of $10,000 to $20,000. So it looks like the White House is moving forward with everything except for the money part of this solution. So I'm really curious. Let me know down in the comments below if you have student loans and you applied for it. Has it been forgiven or at least approved, but no money yet? I'm really curious what they're saying there. And then gas prices are dropping ahead of Thanksgiving. So it looks like all over the country, pretty across the board, that a lot of gas prices are dropping all over the country. Not by much though. Could be a good thing, especially if people are traveling. And then when it comes to the House, elections still not officially official yet, but Hakeem Jeffries, House Democrats can have noisy conversations and come together. Is Hakeem Jeffries going to be the new House leader for the Democrats now that Nancy Pelosi, or actually Steny Hoyer, I guess, should he take the spot? Let me know your thoughts on that. Take a look at what he has to say here.
We are back exclusively with New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who is running unopposed to become the leader of the Democrats in the House. Congressman, thanks so much for staying with us. What is your relationship like with your Republican counterpart, Kevin McCarthy, who wants to be the Speaker? When was the last time you spoke with him?
I haven't had a conversation with Leader McCarthy recently. I do have, I think, a much warmer relationship with Steve Scalise. Look forward to working whenever and wherever possible, however, Jake, with the entire House Republican Conference and the leadership team to find common ground to get things done for everyday Americans to make progress. But of course, we will fiercely and vigorously oppose any attempts at Republican overreach and any Republican extremism. And I'm hopeful that the Republican leadership will take lessons away from the rejection of extremism by the American people all across the land and not double and triple down on it in the next Congress.
Do you think he's fit to be the next leader, Kevin McCarthy, the next leader of the Republicans? You've had some harsh words for him, saying it's impossible to take him seriously. And when people ask you about Kevin McCarthy, you say, Kevin who? Do you think he's fit to be Speaker of the House?
Well, that's a decision ultimately that the House Republican Conference is going to have to make. He does seem to be struggling to get to 218. Let's see what happens on January 3rd.
There is going to be, because of the narrow majority that House Republicans are going to have, the far right wing, the MAGA caucus, is going to be empowered and emboldened. It's going to make it tougher for McCarthy to govern as Speaker if he does, in fact, become Speaker. If Kevin McCarthy needs votes to pass essential legislation, such as keeping the government open or raising the debt limit, will Democrats be willing to help him if the Freedom Caucus folks, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world, refuse to participate?
Well, it seems to me that that's a case-by-case basis, but Democrats have always been willing to lean in on making sure that we fully fund the government, and Democrats have always been willing to lean in and making sure that we meet our nation's obligations and do not default on our debt for the first time in American history. I think it's also important to point out, Jake, that we have consistently fought against extremism on the Republican side, including when it manifested itself often during the former president's tenure, while at the same time being able to find common ground to make progress for the American people. We did it with criminal justice reform. I was delighted to be involved personally in trying to negotiate historic criminal justice reform with the Trump administration, working with my colleague, former Republican Congressman Doug Collins from Georgia. Certainly, Speaker Pelosi led the effort to make sure that we could arrive at an agreement around the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement reform, the new NAFTA, in a way that benefited working families, organized labor, and people from the heartland and throughout the country. And we consistently have found common ground, even with some of the most recent legislative victories during this current Congress. I hope that that's a record that we can build upon moving forward.
So what do you think? Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats, are they going to work with McCarthy and the Republicans? Is it going to happen? Speaking of McCarthy, so as Pelosi passes the torch, McCarthy struggles with GOP support. So it is not official yet, but Kevin McCarthy could be the new Speaker of the House, taking Nancy Pelosi's position, although not all Republicans on board, and with a razor-thin margin in the House, McCarthy needs almost every vote, but it looks like he's basically the front runner in who's going to be the Speaker of the House. Take a look at what Kevin McCarthy has to say about working with the Democrats.
And we begin this Sunday morning with the balance of power in Washington for the new 118th Congress to convene in January. Republicans officially taking control of the House more than a week after voters went to the polls for the midterm elections. The GOP has secured the majority with at least 218 seats, with 5 House races yet to be called. The Republican victory ends Nancy Pelosi's run as Speaker of the House. Pelosi has signaled she will step down as leader of the House Democrats, finishing a 2-decade run that began in 2003. Joining me right now is House GOP leader, Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who is seeking to hold that gavel when the 118th Congress opens for session in January. Congressman, it's good to see you. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, Maria, and it's an honor to be on your show today.
Well, it's great to see you, and we want to get into the road ahead. You have been winning, even if it was slimmer than a lot of people expected, but you have been winning in the last 2 cycles. You talked so much about the diversity of candidates that you had put together for the House, and now you've got, what, the most black Republicans since Reconstruction in the House. You've got the most Jewish Republicans in the House in over 20 years, the most Hispanic Republicans in the House in history. You're winning, and yet you're still getting attacked. Will you be able to get that gavel?
Well, I was honored to be nominated by the conference and win that vote inside the conference. Now we have to go to the floor. You're right, Maria. When you look at the last 4 years since I've been leader, when we first came in, we had less than 200 members. And in the last 2 cycles, the House Republicans have overperformed the rest of the ticket. We have won in both cycles. And the unique thing is we set a goal out, and I've said it many times on your show, to stop the Biden agenda, to win the majority, and to fire Nancy Pelosi. We have just achieved all all three of those. Now, our majority, we would like to have been higher, but they lost in the Senate, they lost the governors, they lost the State House, but in the House of Republicans, we actually won the majority. It's not the size of the gavel, it's the power of the gavel of who holds it. We'll end up with 222 members, exactly the size of what the Democrats have now. But all the work that we want to do, from rolling out the investigations, from rebuilding our economy, from securing our border, none of that can go forward without us moving forward on the floor, having the vote of the Speaker, putting the rules in, and working together as one. We will be successful if we work as one team, and it's something I'm trying to do to make sure it's a bottom-up situation inside our conference.
So you think you'll end up with 222 Republicans?
Yes, when you look at the numbers today, and think about us, where we won. We won in New York, and California were going to pick up another seat. The 218th member was the first time Republicans have won a seat just in L.A. County, Mike Garcia, a seat that Biden won by 13 points. We defeated the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee chair. This is the #1 Democrat when it comes to running races. That hasn't happened in 42 years. We won another seat that Biden won by 14. We won seats no one thought was possible, from New York to Arizona. You look along the border, from Monica de la Cruz, Juan Ciscomani. We have expanded this party, exactly one of the goals we wanted to do as well. So we should make sure that we're united as one as we move forward to achieve the goals we promised and made a commitment to the American people.
Look, Congressman, you know that you don't have everybody's support. Representative Andy Biggs has said he's a no vote. He doesn't want you to be the next speaker. He tweeted that out. How are you going to get the 218 votes you need to become speaker? Tell us about the road ahead and how you're going to convince those 4 people or 5 people who are pushing back. Andy Biggs tweets this: "I've seen enough. I cannot vote for Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. I do not believe he will ever get to the 218 votes, and I refuse to assist him in his effort."
Well, we need to work as one, because if that continues to move forward, all the investigations we asked to happen, the securing the border, the stopping the movement, none of that can move forward without. Andy ran inside the conference, and we had that debate, and I think that's a healthy debate, and I think that's a good debate. It's worth being challenged and make sure competition's there. But we have to work as one conference, because if 4 want to vote one way, 4 can vote another. We have to unite as Republicans and understand the commitment we made to the American people. When we had this debate, most of the discussion, it wasn't about me, it was the process and the rules in the House. I have opened up the rules even greater than we've ever before, changed the steering committee where the power rests with the conference themselves to make that decision. They have more power than the leadership ever had in the past. And really, we're walking through rules next week as well. I kept that open. So if the argument is about the rules of the House, let collectively the conference make that decision. But we will only be successful if we work together, but we will fail if we work as individuals.
What are your thoughts there? Kevin McCarthy, good speaker, bad speaker, or Speaker of the House, like good nomination, bad nomination? What do you think about that, taking Nancy Pelosi's spot? Let me know down in the comments below. Stimulus update. Will an uptick in layoffs lead to stimulus aid? Big question here. More companies have been cutting headcount as recession fears mount. If unemployment really picks up, it could make the case for another stimulus check, but only if that uptick is extreme. So basically, we've seen the headlines. Amazon, 10,000 people laid off. Twitter and this and that. A lot of the tech companies are laying off, banks and big financial companies laying off a lot of their employees because they're afraid of the recession that's about to come. Could this bring another round of stimulus because of it? Well, if we're thinking about stimulus checks, it may not happen. Unemployment boost, a possibility if there's a really strong uptick in unemployment. Basically, what it's saying here is last round of stimulus checks to hit Americans' bank accounts was approved in March 21, and the February before that, the national unemployment rate sat at 6.2%. That's a far cry from where the jobless rate is today. So with the current unemployment rate, I don't think it's going to get up to 6.2%. That was a pretty extreme example. So back to answer this question, will an uptick in layoffs lead to stimulus aid? Maybe some sort of stimulus aid, possibly, but I don't think there's going to be a stimulus check. as there was before, just because of the unemployment. But that's just my opinion. Not saying that there shouldn't be. I just don't think the conditions will be as extreme. If a recession is really bad and it affects the general population, then I could see a stimulus check there. But let me know your thoughts. Also, thousands of Americans can claim rebate worth up to $1,000 next week from $12 million pot. See eligibility criteria. This is going on in Boise, Idaho. So this was, I guess, just sort of approved. It's a new rebate program, and it is set to launch on December 1st. So if you're in Boise, Idaho, then you can start applying for this December 1st. Could be up to $1,000. There's different qualifications. Yeah, so based on taxes and stuff. So yeah, that's the latest program there. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'm gonna tell you something that you would really love. So to me, you guys are beautiful, so nice, and you guys make a warmth inside of me because you guys are the best. Do you know why? Because you are my friends. So, just let you know, I love you guys. So, stay cool. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Kids are feeling a little bit better. You can probably hear them yelling in the background. I got to get out there and see what's going on. But anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your Monday. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.